Hello. So, Merry Christmas Eve. I had the joy of going and meeting with my vascular surgeon. His name is Dr. Meisner. I keep saying it wrong. But I got to meet with him this morning and really further discuss my pelvic congestion syndrome and what he sees and what my options are. So, first, like, he's amazing. So, if you are someone I'm friends with who has pelvic congestion syndrome or whatever, if you can see him, I highly recommend him. He's definitely very, very nice and very knowledgeable and one of the best vascular surgeons in the nation. He's like one of the only vascular surgeons that even really deals with this condition. So he did another little ultrasound just to kind of like look and stuff. And the funny thing is that he was like, don't worry. If I say I can't see anything, he's like, that's pretty common. I typically don't see anything. He's like, I trust the ultrasound techs. They know what they're doing and they always find everything. He's like, I just kind of like to look to see if I see anything. Well, lo and behold, he was like, oh, wow, like I can see so much and I see all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really a good thing that you can see everything because clearly that means that I'm way jacked up. So he was looking at everything and he was really nice and like drew out like a little fun little diagram. It's like a whole bunch of scribbles and stuff that kind of like shows basically what's going on with me. The biggest issues that I have are these main veins that you have that are leading down off of this is like your spine, okay? And they're leading down towards my uterus and my ovaries. There's these two main veins that lead down. One directly comes right off your spine. One actually comes off from this is your kidney. And it comes off of this vein that goes towards your kidney and it pops off over here. There's another main one down here that kind of feeds it. But what he sees right now of the worst, there's stuff going on down here, clearly, he said. But mine are these two main ones leading that are the worst. Considered extremely big, he said, is 6 millimeters, and mine are over 6 millimeters. They're really big. He's like, they're really big. Not just big, but really big. The problem he sees is that, so the right side is showing some blood flow trying to get back up, which is what's supposed to happen. You know, the blood flow comes down and it's supposed to also go back up to your heart. This one is showing signs that it is getting some blood flowing up. The left side is showing signs that it is not making its way back up, which he said is potentially because I may have another compression going on right here where it's actually the vein leading to my kidney, which is actually called, funny enough, Nutcracker syndrome. Christmas Eve, Nutcracker syndrome. Are you freaking kidding me right now? I was like, really? Ha ha ha. That's not funny. So that's a whole nother issue all in itself. He suggests, obviously, to come in, do an embolization, which is basically shutting down these veins. But he needs to look here to find out whether or not this is a problem and whether or not I have this. So we don't know yet. It kind of actually, a lot of the symptoms I'm having suggests that that is what's going on, and I'm going to just further learn about it and try to figure it out. The other thing that he told me is that besides embolizations, the other two options were to go on medication to put me into menopause, but that is not something I could do long term. You're talking maybe 3-6 months, and it doesn't really solve anything. Just creates another mess of problems, and then I can't stay on those meds for forever. The other one is a hysterectomy, but he said a hysterectomy too. I could have the hysterectomy and everything could be great, or I could have the hysterectomy and I could have more problems. But the same thing goes for this. He could go in and do these, and I could be great for maybe 6 months, maybe a year, and then have problems again, or it never resolves. I have to keep going back in. So like I was afraid of, and what many women that I deal with that have this condition is that there's no real answer and there's no real solution. And I feel stressed because like every time I go in, it's like I get more answers, but then I find more potential problems and roadblocks, and it just elevates my stress and makes me more anxious because I'm like, I just really want somebody to say, hey, yeah, we have this problem, and then we're going to solve it by doing this, and then you're going to just be able to go back to leading a normal life. And it's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to lead a normal life. Well, unless when I start going into menopause, apparently. But if I have Nutcracker syndrome, I don't know. It's just a lot of still like, I don't get the answers I want, and it just stresses me out. And then the beauty of all of this is really fun, is that apparently insurance companies, because my condition is very rare, and Nutcracker syndrome is very rare too, but pelvic congestion syndrome is very rare, is that they look at this condition as it's still, they're trying to learn about it, and they don't know whether or not insurance is going to cover it. This condition is actually in men. It just shows up in a different way. It shows up in your guys' testes, basically, and you have testicle like issues, but it's the exact same veins, everything. Insurance companies approve it for men. Insurance companies don't always approve it for women. How does that go? Like, even my doctor, Dr. Mesner, was like, don't even get me started on it. I think it's bullshit, basically, and I'm really sorry, but that's just how it is. So now I've got to go through a big waiting game. I think we're going to go ahead, me and my husband discuss it. Me and Kyle decided we're going to go forth, call on Monday, get the insurance to see if they're going to approve, go forth with the embolizations, and to find out for certain if I have Nutcracker syndrome, and see how I do. It's still going to be a long road to even see if it works. And then still potentially probably a hysterectomy in my future is what we're looking at, which potentially I might even have to look at having my ovaries removed, at least one. My left one is like totally jacked. So that's that. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to just fill you in, because I know there were several people that were wondering, and other spoonies that I talked to were wondering how my condition is going. So there you go. So Merry Christmas. May you have Nutcracker syndrome. What are the odds of that on Christmas being told? So I'm just going to try to go and enjoy the rest of my day as best as I can. And I'm a little sore. My husband was really sweet and like rubbed my pelvis and my hips and stuff, because I was so sore after the exam and everything today. So I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of my day. I love you guys, and I will talk to you more soon. Bye.